Hey everybody, Zach King here. Thanks for meeting me back at the King's Corner. It's May, that means Mother's Day. If you're anything like me, well, I love my mom. When we were growing up, she used to always, make cookies with us, chocolate chip, peanut butter, oatmeal. Today we're doing a little bit of a twist on the cookie. These are called Shrewsbury Cakes. Very similar to sugar cookies, very similar to shortbread, kind of a little hybrid action. So grab your mom, grab your kids' mom, and we'll come make some cookies. Here's what you need. You need 1 cup of sugar. You'll need 3 cups of all-purpose flour. You're going to need 1/2 pound of butter. We got it broken up into little bits here for ease of use. 2 chicken eggs. We have a 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg and cinnamon. We got a little bit of extra flour for dusting and fun. We have some vanilla extract as well as some golden raisins. Before we get started, keep in mind Shrewsbury Cakes, as they're called, aren't really cakes so much as cookies, kind of like a sugar cookie. So just keep that in mind as we go along. So let's get started here. We have our flour here and our sugar, nutmeg, and cinnamon. I'm going to start off by getting this nutmeg out of the way by just grating that on top of our flour. This will make it a lot easier to get it all incorporated after you sift it. Whack, whack, whack. Oh, that smells good already. I love nutmeg. As well as the cinnamon. It likes to play. This right here is a great job for the kiddies, with it being Mother's Day and all. We like to get everybody involved. So if you have the sifter, obviously keep an eye on them so they don't make a mess of everything. This little guy is a lot easier and a little bit safer because you can just sit there and whack, 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 whack. That way your kids get to hit stuff legally. Alright. Throw the sugar in there as well. You want to make sure you sift this so you can get all the lumps out of there. Otherwise, it's a lumpy cookie. Nobody likes a lumpy cookie. Alright, so we can put that aside and grab our eggs. And once again, make sure you crack your eggs on a flat surface as opposed to the edge of the bowl, which will push shards of shell in there, which is not very good. Eggs are in there. Grab your vanilla and go with about a 1/2 teaspoon. I don't measure, so that's a 1/2 teaspoon, at least today. Fork or whisk or whatever you use to whip your eggs. Now, a lot of recipes for Shrewsbury Cakes you're going to find call for rose water. I would have loved to use rose water, but our grocer is a stupid head, so we use vanilla. So, eggs are whipped with the vanilla. Nice and tasty looking. Alright, now we're going to mix our wet with the dry. So the egg and vanilla mix goes right in there. And you can get that moving around a little bit, stir it up. And then if you remember that 1/2 pound of butter we had, we melted that down in the microwave. Everybody's microwave is different, so however long it takes you to melt butter in your nuker, go ahead and do that. And you might not need all of it, you might need all of it, you might need more. We're going to go with the melted butter in here, a little bit at a time. Stir, stir, stir. Alright, we need a little bit more butter here still. And this nutmeg is just so fragrant in here. That's all I can smell right now, and that makes me happy. More butter. Always more butter. Still isn't coming together yet, as you can see. So, more butter. Battle cry. Now this is going to be a bit of a soft dough once it comes all together. So that's okay. And if it's been especially dry out lately, the butter that we use might not be enough, because flour can be really thirsty. But this seems though it's taking its time, like it's gonna work. You know what? I see a little bit of butter that wants to join the party still. You're so lonely. There you go. Go with your friends. Alright. Takes a little bit of stirring to make sure all the flour gets in with all the butter. Alright. This is going to be kind of sticky. That is a good thing. Alright. If you look like that, you did something right. So we're going to cover this with some saran wrap, some plastic film, and let this sit for about a half hour and think about what it's done. And we will be back. Alright, break's over, everyone. We got this back out of the fridge, and it's nice and, oh yeah, good and firm there. You want to put it in the fridge and let it sit for about a half hour so the flour in there can soak up any moisture. In there it's called hydration, if you want to be fancy and technical about things. You can leave the dough in the fridge overnight with no ill effects and you'll be fine. So if you do have kids and they pull you aside to do something else, it is okay. So we're going to flour up our rolling pin and our big green cutting board here. You don't have to use a green one if you don't want to. And you want a little bit of flour on your hands here because this is going to be a sticky one today. A little more flour on the top here. Alright, we will commence to rolling. This is good for the young ones to do if you trust them with large, heavy pieces of wood. You can find spacing bands at a lot of supermarkets nowadays. You put them on the ends of the rolling pin here to get you specific thicknesses of what you want. My girlfriend stole those from me, so I can't use them today. So I'm just going to eyeball it. We're going to go to a 1/4 inch-ish. And I'm not really using too much pressure on this. It doesn't take much because it's a pretty soft dough here. Like as you can tell, I'm just rolling it, not pushing really. And quite honestly, you don't have to go to the whole 1/4 inch. You can make these a little thicker if you wish. That will change the cooking time a little bit, and that's okay. As you start to get a little flatter, it'll get sticky on you again here. So we'll just reflour. Another good thing about that time in the fridge there is it lets that butter you put in there kind of solidify back up, so there'll be little pockets of butter all over the place, which will not melt until they're in the oven, and that'll make it super tasty. Alright, so we are good. So put the weapon off to the side here, grab our wonderful cookie cutter, and this is perfect for the young ones to do. Yeah, so you just want to go straight down, just like that. Give it a little twist to make sure you're clear. And I don't know if you've ever seen it before, but that's a cookie. So we'll get these all punchified out. You can go with any shapes. I like round because that's what cookies are supposed to be. I don't care what anybody tells you. And if you're cool like we are, we have double-sided cookie cutters. Nice little fluted edges for those moms who are fancier than others. Alright, cookies. All right, we're going to do a little bit of fanciness here. You can make some little double-stack cookies with some jam and other type stuff in the middle. And to do that, you're going to need a smaller hole type device punching. I just got the sleeve to a candy thermometer here that I'm using. And you just go in there and make a little punch out and turn a little guy into a donut. And remember how I was talking about ice cream? That's what these guys are for, if you can get them out of the tube. Alright, and we'll do one more. So we can have 6. Yeah, there's your little punch outs there. You can make little baby cookies, or you can put ears on your other cookies. All sorts of fun stuff. Let your kids run wild with that. You're going to prep your sheet tray with a little bit of butter. You can use spray. I like spray because I'm lazy. So we'll just use that as we need to. And depending on the size of your sheet tray, is going to be how many you can get on there. These aren't going to expand too much on you, so you don't need to have crazy amounts of room in between them. Alright, now before we go into the oven, on some of these, we got some of these delicious golden raisins here. You can use currants, you can use craisins, you can use apricots. I saw a bag of Sunkist brand mixed fruit bits that you can use. But we're going to go golden raisins here. And we'll put them on the bottom of the sandwich cookie. These are going to be so good. Alright, I'm going to eat this one. And we will go to the oven. Alright, I telepathically told you to heat your oven up to 375 a little bit ago. So, we're there. We're going to go right in. And my recipe calls for 20 minutes in there, which means we're going to set the oven to 10 minutes and give them a spin. Alright, here we go. Let's check it out. These look pretty good. We'll give it a look on the bottom there. These are really close. These are just about done here. So we're only going to go about probably another 2 minutes in here, and they will be perfect. So, don't forget to spin. If your oven cooks kind of uneven, which most do. 2 minutes. Don't go away. That's enough out of you. And we will check our cookies. These look good. This is a pretty firm cookie once it's all done, so don't be afraid. We're gonna let these sit for about 5 minutes, and then we're gonna transfer them to a cooling rack. Unless you're in the well, our cookies are cooled down and they're ready to eat. I told you about a little couple extra steps you can take to make them a little more fancy. We'll go with our sandwich cookie. So I got one of the ones with the golden raisins on there, and I got a couple tablespoons of apple butter here. If you've never had it, I strongly suggest you try it. It'll be really delicious with the raisins and the copious amounts of butter in these cookies. So just take a little bit of the apple butter on here, give it a little smear around. A little more apple butter. Apple butter's good. There's 100 different variations of this cookie. Everybody puts something different in there. I've seen people make them with caraway seeds inside. Lemon zest, always really good in there. Orange zest, obviously, you can use as well. A million different variations you can do. So once you got your apple butter or whatever kind of jam, preserves, goo you want to use, you just put one of the cookies with the hole on it on top, and you have a nice little sandwich cookie. That is definitely the healthiest cookie I've had today. Now, it's the only cookie I've had today, but we're not going to talk about that. These things are delicious. You can really taste the nutmeg and the butter in there, and the butter, It's really good. These are great fun to make with friends, with family, by yourself, because that means you get more cookies if you make them by yourself. That's cool. If you figure out something else you want to put in these, let us know, and we can talk about it with the entire internet, and we can figure out all sorts of fun stuff to do with these. Send us your questions, comments, insults to hiddendirk.com. We'll get back to you hopefully. We'll see you next month. I love you, Mom.